today we had a nice day out. Actually, calling it a day out is a bit generous because we were out for maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours at best. Today was a thing called Huddersfeast. Now, I like food. You've probably gathered that, either through watching the vlogs or through watching various other things that I have made, or just talking to me or observing me and my belly. I'm a fan of food. I like a food. And I particularly like a nice street food festival of sorts. Some of the local towns do food festivals every so often, and of course there's various food courts and things, like in Leeds there's a fantastic food court there in the Trinity Centre, and so on and so forth. I don't want to list them and spend all day. There used to be one in Huddersfield actually, but it kind of lasted for about a week and then they gave up on it. Huddersfield, man, it's such a tragedy. I could spend a whole vlog talking about how tragic it is, and you know what? Why don't I? Well, let's talk about Huddersfeast first, because, it's a good thing that's happened in town, the first good thing that's happened in town for a very long time. Every so often, they used to hold these ad hoc market type deals. There was never any warning that they'd happen. They just sort of, you'd go into town one day and there'd be a load of stalls down Main Street, and it was always the same ones, and there was never any food that I was particularly interested in. But I did like to see it nonetheless. There always used to be this massive sweet stall near, if you know Huddersfield, near Cafe Nero. There's a big crossroads there, and it was a perfect place for a gigantic stall. And there's these two Native American musicians that do the rounds as well. You can hear them playing the flute. Quite nice. But they haven't been able to do that lately, and I'll tell you why in a second. But first I will tell you about Huddersfeast, which was held at the St George's Square, which is this big flat area outside the front of the train station. They usually hold events and things there, and this one was no different. It was quite good. It wasn't exceptional by any stretch, but it was quite good. I enjoyed it. I liked spending time there. They had sort of a weird U shape of stalls, of a variety of cuisines. There was an ice cream van, because of course there was. What else was there? There was a burger place, of course. There was a hot dog place. There were a couple of Italian places actually. One of them did fried pizza, which is very odd, and various other things. And the other one just did pizza and was very a word I've learnt tonight, pacey about it. Yes, not really very urgent with the pizza orders, it seems. Or maybe they were, and I just wasn't paying enough attention. And there was a stall that called itself Dutch, but they seemed to offer chips in a cone, which doesn't sound very Dutch to me, and pancakes and waffles. Tempted to get one of those, but my belly was quite full after the pizza. Spoilers. There was a bao place. My wife got a bao, and it was rather good. I had a little bite. Nice it was. And there was something else as well. I think Magic Rock Brewing was the local craft beer place. Yeah, all in all, rather good. And they had loads of benches out, and there was quite a lot of people there, as you would hope. There was also I don't know what to call them. Closest thing are probably a polka band. They were all wearing chef's outfits, and they did a very strange version of Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash. The guy was sort of growling into a megaphone. Very unusual. But yeah, they were quite nice. A bit different from the standard brass band fare that we get over here. And, well, I've already given it away. I had a pizza, and it was rather good, even if it did take a while to arrive. But yeah, that's kind of the first exciting thing that's happened in Huddersfield. They've got this big 10-year plan, and I know 10 years is a long time, but they've been at it for a few years already, and it doesn't really seem to be going at any sort of useful pace. So they're knocking down rather large parts of the town in order to build newer, better things there. I understand the premise, because there's this one bit of town, it's it's all right, and they're looking to sort of regenerate it, put some new stuff there, and make it a bit more pedestrian friendly. So it's nice, it's good. They're making it a bit more bike friendly as well around town, the roads and stuff. But in doing so, they seem to have created issues. For example, they knocked down one of the biggest car parks in the town centre, and that means that if you try and go to town, you either got to get there really early, or you can't flipping park. So that's a bit of a bummer, and one that I haven't really addressed. They've also, well, that car park was attached to the big indoor market that was in town that brought a lot of traffic. I mean, it was always really busy in the indoor market, and anything you wanted, you could probably find it in there. Got rid of that. One of the best things about town, and then just knocked it over. So, yeah, it seems like they're making a lot of questionable decisions, not least of which are the massive planters that are on Main Street now, which means they can't have the stalls there. You know? Yeah, I overheard a couple of people earlier. They were looking at one of these massive planters that they've put on Main Street. These monumental obelisks. Don't have any plants in them. I think the idea is to put plants in later and watch them grow. But they look a bit silly. And, yeah, this one couple were basically saying they've no idea what it is or what it's all about. This in the midst of the local council getting dangerously close to declaring bankruptcy. So it's all looking a little bit hazy. Hazy? Sketchy. I don't know why I said hazy. That's well, maybe hazy is them. That's all I can see is just smoke, because they seem to be making some very odd decisions indeed, and they can't see what's actually going on or what needs attention. All the while, shops are closing left and right. They're actually my favourite cafe is having to close because they're knocking down. That's the bit of the town they're knocking down, and the owners have decided not to relocate because there's no interest in staying in town. Clearly, because every other damn shop is closing. There's been the big British Home Stores. Remember when that closed down? That's been empty that whole time. There's a massive Boots that was on the corner. That's been empty for years. Yeah, it's all looking a bit worse for wear, and maybe this big 10-year bid will bear fruit. But all the major stuff is a bit of a ways off yet, and whether they'll be able to afford it is another matter. But anyway, the point is we had a nice day out, and we got to have some tasty food, so that's the main thing, isn't it? Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.